Hello, this is High Templar with my new Total War Warhammer DLC analysis video, and we have some quick news on the dwarves. So today was a stream related to the Skarsnik battle quests, but the developer showed us some unit roster for the dwarves, and this is very interesting because we already know some things about them. So let's start with Balagar Iron Hammer, which I showed you before. But for the fullness, we already know that he's heavy armored, have a very decent melee attack and defense, very nice weapon strength but non-armor piercing, and very nice charge bonus. And he does have charge bonus, charge defense against all. But what is interesting is comparison to the Rune Lord. So if you go to the Rune Lord, which is your basic lord, we haven't seen him before. He has a lot less health than the Balagar, and he has less leadership, less melee and less defense. That's not something we were really surprised about, and much less weapon strength and charge bonus. But he is not in fact a melee lord. Still, with a 40 melee attack and 45 defense and 288 damage, he would be decent with 120 armor. That is something that will make him, with this health, he has some quite stay-in ability. But what more important, we already got a hint on his skills. So let's review that. So you can see here this basic lord has 5000 health in fact. And with some bonuses he has 52 defense, and the additional runes that we can get for him, as you can see here, is constant around himself, 45 meter range, plus 8% armor piercing damage, which is very situational, as you might know, but this is constant, so this is something cool. But not many dwarf units have armor piercing. You would have to focus on those units and focus them again around this guy to make it basically reasonable. As you can see by the green diamond here, this skill will cost around more than 100 for sure, around 150. So plus 8% is not really that great, unless you focus some armor piercing units around this guy. The next one is Rune of Health and Home. So this is something quite interesting. This is also targeting himself and allies around him, 45 meter range, and that makes everyone 100% charge resistance and immune to psychology. And this is very cool because your normal dwarf units did not have charge bonus, charge defense against all. They only had charge against the versus large. That would make them pretty much as resistant as iron dwarves to infantry charge, iron breakers. Because yeah, you could have your longbeards cast it and they will be absolutely immune to charge. That's very cool, and that would also apply to your great weapons. So amazing. Every charge made by cavalry, everything like that, that would just not be working. And immune to psychology is also very, very important. And this is on everyone, that is constant, that's always working. That is something very interesting and very useful. Then we have Locus of Power. So this is map-wide bonus that is actually increasing the magic resistance of all the dwarves by 15%, making all the damaging spells even less effective. And yeah, forget about casting it, and this actually costs 115, which makes me think that other might not be costing that much. And let's just review the prices here. There are no changes in the prices of the dwarf infantry units, but we already see the regiments of renown prices. So for example, the fire dwarves here cost 700, which is slightly overpriced in my opinion. The slayers cost 1250, and those guys are resistant to charge also against large. So that means they can just withstand the charge of the cav unit, and then they can cut them to pieces. So those guys are definitely on my list. Those guys will be, yeah, those longbeards, 1000, probably bit too overpriced. And this unit of iron breakers, additional 250, which might be actually okay. Those guys are actually doing those guys are actually not quite okay. They are actually amazing, because the iron breakers, they cost 250 more, but there is 20 more guys in a unit. They have like amazing stats, like really amazing stats. So this is something you really might want to keep your eye on. And then finally the hammerers. I don't think I would pay 400. That were just, yes, there will be bonuses plus 10 to everything. Maybe those guys will be worth it, but the iron breakers for sure, those guys will be very, very powerful indeed. Then we have something we have waited for a long time. We have rangers that actually cost less than your quarterers, which might me think that they are not so bad after all. They do have some stats that are, lessened, but some stats they have higher. The armor is something that, well, if you are bringing your army against dwarves, you are bringing armor piercing either way, so those guys actually might be a viable option. But let's just look at that. Those guys are the rangers with great weapons, and they cost the same as quarterers with great weapons, but the stats are quite higher, and they do possess those armor piercing axes with amazing damages. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please review my video about Belegar Iron Hammer quest battle. So those guys throw very high damage armor piercing axes, and having them at 650 makes them do really want to use them inside my army. And the regiments of renown cost only 700, only 100 more. So yeah, they are definitely in my book. And then we have those regiments of renowned iron breakers who actually fire not fire but steam, which is doing some armor piercing damage, and they cost only 150 more and has quite higher stats. Those guys might also be very worth it. So very soon you will see a lot of those units in the multiplayer battles. They are quite good. And you can also see that the bomber, a new bomber costs actually 1350, which is absolutely, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, but I don't think those guys are really worth it, because they have the same amount of bombs, they just drop them faster, and while their stats are slightly higher, the stats are melee attack and defense, and leadership is not why you are bringing the gyro bomber into the game. So probably largely overpriced. And yeah, this is pretty much it. These are all the changes for the dwarves I wanted to show you. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other DLC speculations and analysis videos, my mechanics videos for Total War Warhammer, and my Let's Plays for Total War Warhammer and other series. Thank you for watching, and see you later.